This video is kind of a sequel to zscore 1, zscore underscore 1. I'm going to call it zscore underscore 2. The real conceit of this calculating the z-score is the overall strategy is a lot of times you need to open up a data file, make some sort of analysis or some sort of calculation, and store that in a data file. If we were going to do the z-score of 100 points or 1,000 points, it would come up on the screen, but that would be pretty useless. It would be better to have a data file that had all the z-scores in it. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to write a program that will open up the data file, calculate the z-score, and then write a data file that has a name similar to the data file input, the input data file. So that's what we're going to do in this program. We're going to start with zscore underscore 1, that folder, make a copy of it, and then I'm going to call it zscore underscore 2. I'll rename it zscore underscore 2. I go in there, I erase the executable, and I rename zscore underscore 1.c to be zscore underscore 2.c. Then I double click on it, and it comes up in Notepad++. And then we're just going to do a couple of changes. We're going to add two variables, two character variables. So car space fname, and then open square brackets 30, close square brackets. 30 is too much. You don't need that many points, but that's just more than the alphabet, and so I usually just waste space that way. And the other one below it is this car space star PCH. Pointer character is what it means, and I got PCH from C++.com. C++.com always uses PCH for all these string array examples that it uses, so I just got it from that. At the top, instead of using argv1, we're going to do string copy, strcpy. We're going to copy argv1 into fname. So fname in the beginning is going to store o10.txt or o100.txt or whatever. And then we open it, we just do the fopen command, we're going to do use fname instead of argv1. And so we get the data file, and that's fine. We close fp, and so fp is now free. Then we load all the data in. Then we're going to calculate the average and the standard deviation with the modular functions. So once we've calculated the average and the standard deviation, we're going to do the following trick. PCH is going to be equal to strchr, string character. And what it is what that string.h command function does is it says, look throughout fname, and when you find the character, in this case the period, the dot, when you find the dot, stop. PCH is going to have the address, basically, of that point where the dot occurs, right? So that's what strchr does. Then I'm going to, I know where that address is now, and so from that point on, I'm going to write out a new extension, a new ending to this file name. So instead of being o10.txt, it's going to be o10z.out for out. Now, .out is not a very good extension. You should use .txt. You should use normal extensions, but this is just for the sake of educational aspects. And so you could have done z.txt too. That would have been fine. So you see that once you have, so PCH is only storing one address, but fname has all the addresses up to 30 different possible characters there. And so by knowing the address of where PCH is, right, you just change whatever it's dot, change it to Z, then the very next one you change that one to dot, then the next one to O, and the next one to U, the next one to T. And the .txt part's gone. You've written over that, and you've changed the name now to an output file name, o10z.out for o10.txt as an input file. Then I can reuse fp. So I just do fp equals fopen, then I use the fname, and then now this is .write, right? So again, write is not user-friendly, so you're going to rewrite every time you run this program, you're going to rewrite over that. So be careful, of course, when you're writing files in C. And then when we calculate the z-score, we fprintf to the file instead of printing f to the screen. And And so then it's going to store the data. It's going to store all the z-scores in this new file that we created with a new name based on the input file name. So the first part of the input file name is 010, so I still know that. And it has a z in it, so this means it's a z-score. And then it's going to have a different extension just for the sake of this class, this particular video. Okay, so then I go back into the command prompt. I cd OneDrive, cd desktop, cd C code, cd zscore _2. Then I compile the new program and run it with 010. So then you see the o10z.out file in the folder there, right? So I go into Notepad++ and I find that file and I open it up with Notepad++. When I look at the file, it's the same z-score as I calculated with zscore _1. I can look and just compare it, go back to zscore 1 and look at what those values were. It's the same values, but it's now in a file here. And so now we know by using string manipulation, by subtly changing the names from an input file name to an output file name. You can imagine that the input file name would have the word in it, and the output file name could have the word out in it. And you could make any kind of file names that you want using this strategy to manipulate data, take an input file name, make some calculations, make an output file name with the new data in it. And so that's a very, very normal thing to do with data files as a computational person.